what was incredible is that we've had some people on the show recently who've said it's incredible how the markets have just shrugged off anything that's going on. Healthcare reform didn't pass. There's a very little chance it seems like tax reform is going to pass, and yet the markets continue to go up. I mean, is there any chance at all for tax reform?
The dysfunction in Washington is baked into this market. I mean, I think people realize that
think
Washington
so?
is not working. I mean, look, healthcare reform is a classic example of how this happens, where you get a lot of promises made, Republicans making promises for 7 years they're going to do something on the Obamacare, nothing ends up happening. Tax reform is a slightly different case, but I'm not sure the outcome in the short run is any different. I think if they get to tax reform, it's going to be a 2018 proposition, not a 2017 proposition, notwithstanding all of the rhetoric you hear from the House, the Senate, and the White House. This process is going to take time. I think there is much more natural agreement between Republicans on tax policy than there is on health care policy, but that doesn't make it any easier necessarily to get to the answer they want to get to.
Okay, and on the issue of tax reform, Steve Mnuchin a few days ago was on this panel, and he said, look, we're going to be successful with it. This is pass-fail. We're going to pass it. And I just want to play for you a little part of what he said about this.
Why shouldn't the American public believe it? Of course they should believe it. We've said that. Speaker Ryan has said that. Chairman Hatch has said it. We are all 100% committed to getting tax reform done this year.
Right. That was back in June. He said this a few days ago as well. So, he keeps saying it, but everyone else we talk to around him say that it's not going to happen. So where's this disconnect here?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important for the Secretary of the Treasury and the President and top officials to convey confidence that something is going to happen. And I do think at the end of the day, they will get to an agreement on tax. It's going to take longer than we think, but I think they get there for two reasons. One, this is a huge issue. Again, Republicans have campaigned on the issue of tax reform, if not just tax cuts. And then related to that, I think the other reason they get it done is because this is a more natural fit for Republicans. They're much more comfortable talking about tax reform than they are about other topics. And I think you're going to see leadership coming out of the Congress. People like Paul Ryan, who's the Speaker of the House, a guy named Kevin Brady, who runs the key tax writing committee, tax policy writing committee in the House. They are committed to getting this done. And I think that leadership is going to be very, very important.